At KTAR.com/Doug and Wolf. Good morning. Paul Calvisi, sideline reporter for the Arizona Cardinals, joins us as well as we go in the red zone with head coach Ken Whisenhunt after the difficult loss yesterday for the Cardinals up against Tampa Bay. I know that the quarterback situation is something that you unfortunately get asked about all the time, but now that you've got to see a little bit more of the film, what did you see?
Well, I mean, obviously we didn't get the production out of that position that we need to. You can't have 4 interceptions. I mean, 2 of them, the one to LaRod there at the end, that was tough. That was a hit. But obviously the giving up 14 points from that position, that's very difficult to live with. So it just makes it tough. You're disappointed because you work so hard to try to correct those things and not have them happen. And that's part of the game. You got to give Tampa credit. They made some plays, and we're going to continue to work and move on.
Coach, have you made any decisions as to which quarterback you're going to start this week coming up here? Or nothing's
changed since yesterday, Wolf. We've there's no timetable to make the decision. We're going to look at the tape again with the staff and talk to the players about it, and then we'll look at what we're going to do against Minnesota and decide from that point.
The quarterbacks, when you ask them about it and they look at the film and they say, look, these are correctable things. These are things I'm doing. Do you see it that way? Is that something? Are they close? Are these minor adjustments that need to be made? Or is there a way to categorize the turnovers and what's been happening with the quarterbacks in particular?
Well, I think it's really just more about decision-making processes, and I think that they're definitely correctable. I mean, there was a lot of good things yesterday that we did on the field that, it's easy to overlook when you have those plays that go the other way. But we had some throws down the field. We made some, we had some production in the pass game. It's just, the biggest thing that stands out for us, obviously, is turnovers. You can't do that. And if you look at the games that we've lost and you take away those turnovers, even looking at a couple of games that we've won, we've been able to overcome those. And we almost did yesterday. I have to give our team credit for hanging in there and fighting, coming back from 17 points down. But that's got to stop. It's got to get better than what it is. And the only way I know how to do that is to continue to work on it in practice. I think that we know that what we're doing is going to give us a chance to win if we can eliminate these mistakes, and we're going to continue to work that way.
If as much as you feel comfortable letting us inside as fans, what when you say you work on it, what does that mean? How hard is it to correct some of the mistakes? What goes into the week of planning? Allow us to pretend that we're all coaches and take us inside of what you do to look at different interceptions, different turnovers, and then how do you try to go about fixing it?
Well, I mean, obviously we watch a lot of tape. Mm-hmm. We try to simulate the looks in practice, but you just never know what the other team is going to give you. So when you get a play in the game, you have to go through your progressions. A lot of times it doesn't come up like it does in practice, and sometimes maybe we get a little too geared into what we potentially see on practice. And I think that's really what it's got to come down to is we try to give multiple looks. We try to give you the right type of schemes that you think you're going to see, and then you really have to hit it hard about your progressions and what you're reading and what you're looking at. And I've seen progress with that. We've gotten better. But, obviously when we turn the ball over, everybody's looking for answers. Mm-hmm. I think what you have to do is you have to stay the course. You have to continue to work the way it's been successful for you. And, it's a tough period that we're going through right now. But like I said, our guys are working hard. I really believe that we're going to get better. And, that's all you can ask for.
Coach, you were a player, of course. You know what it's like to suffer such a disappointing loss. The way, of course, you battled back there at the end of the third quarter and eventually took the lead, and then you gave it back right there. Very disappointing loss for this team. Are you worried about these guys' attitude going forward?
I hope not. I mean, there's a lot of football left to play. I didn't sense it yesterday at all. I just think that it still stings right now. I mean, I know it hurts for all of us. We're out there working hard and trying to do the right thing. And I think when the emotional toll it takes on you from yesterday's game to be up and then to have the turnovers and go back down and then to be down significantly and then come back and then have the ball at the 20-yard line with 2 minutes left with a chance to, worst case, tie or even go in and win the game, and then have that unfortunate interception and it changes the game. It's just, it's difficult. It's hard to rebound from that. But I think that I didn't sense it from our players. I certainly didn't feel like some of their comments afterwards. Darnell Dockett said it yesterday. We didn't make enough plays to win. I don't fault our team for effort. I think that those things are all correctable. And, let's face it, if we can if we can eliminate these turnovers that we're doing offensively, or even in the special teams, because we've had a couple of those, then we're going to win some games, and that's ultimately what it's about. Our guys are playing hard. There were times in the game yesterday where we played like a very good football team. Our defense, I think they had the ball 9 minutes in the first half yesterday. We were playing good defense, and offensively, we had it 20 minutes. We converted some third downs. We moved the ball. So there's signs. It's hard to sit here and say after a loss like that there's positive signs with our team, and I think that's what our players see. And we'll make that point today when we watch the tape with them, that this is what we can do if we don't make the mistakes. And like I said, we got a lot of games in front of us, and I don't think by any stretch that I sense that at all from our team.
Beyond the 4 turnovers, what sticks with you most from yesterday's game, good or bad? Individuals or team aspects. What sticks out to you still at this point the most beyond the 4 interceptions?
Well, I mean, it's just it's hard to look past that. It's hard to look past giving up 14 points that way. You work so hard to get points, but I think the thing that just stands out in a positive vein is that we're down 17 points. And, it's not going well, and nobody on our team gave in. And we came storming back and took the lead back, and that's, scoring 21 points in the second half in a little bit over a quarter. I realized one of those was a defensive score, but, that's what you have to do to give yourself a chance to win. And that's not something that always happens. So, I do feel like that our team is mentally tougher, and we can get through this. And, there's just so much stuff that happened in that game yesterday. It's hard to sit here and pinpoint all kinds of different things. I mean, you can look at it from all kinds of different perspectives. And, the bottom line is they made the plays to win, and we came up short. We're going to look to correct it and move forward.
What did you think about the defense? There were quite a few times in this game where it looked like Tampa Bay could put you away, and the defense didn't allow it to happen. But there were other, there's 2 80-yard drives and a 94 and a 74-yard drive for points. So how did you evaluate the defense as a whole?
Well, like I said, I think it really goes back to what I said.
Okay.
We didn't play good enough to win the game. I think it's frustrating when you play like you did in the first quarter, in the first half, and then we give up 14 points and they have the lead. But that still doesn't excuse us when we have the ball at the 3-yard line and we're going for a 4th down play. Your expectation with timeouts and the 2-minute warning is that if you don't get it, you're going to get the ball back in good field position with a chance to kick the field goal anyway. So you take a calculated gamble there, and it's disappointing that offensively they were able to move the ball down the field and get points out of it. So those are the kind of things that we have to make sure when we're playing situational football like that we do a better job of. But our defense was it was up and down. We made some great plays. We played at times we looked like the defense that's shown up the last 2 weeks, and then at other times we gave up some big passes, and those are all things that we can't have those lapses. We got to continue to work and try to get our young guys up to speed, not making mistakes, and hopefully that's what we'll do.
Wiz, it seems like to me that Derek Anderson, for whatever reason, it seems like to me he plays better coming off the bench. I don't know, is that an observation that you guys have noticed as well, or do you disagree with me?
I don't know. I mean, I think that he's played well the last 2 weeks coming off the bench. I think that obviously if he doesn't have that interception inside the 2 minutes yesterday, or right at the 2 minutes, everybody would be excited about the way Derek played. He made some big-time throws for us and played well in that role that he came in. And I don't know. Part of it is that we got some of our receivers back, and, that helps. But, I think that maybe he's getting a little bit more comfortable with our offense. I don't know what the combination is, but he has played well off the bench the last 2 weeks, and I can't say that, that's his role or that's what he does well. You would like to think that you could carry that over to the game if we needed it as a starter. But, those are all things that you have to look at when you're evaluating the quarterback.
Yeah, Steve Breston had a career day. I was going to ask how instrumental that was, having, for the first time since the first half of the St. Louis game. You had your full complement of the starting 3 there at the receiver position.
And healthy, because even that first game, Larry was still a little banged up. But it definitely was noticeable from a standpoint of what we could do to the defense as far as their coverages and having guys open. And the timing looked a lot better yesterday, and hopefully we'll keep those guys healthy and we'll continue to improve, because I think that we are a much better offense when those guys are healthy. It helps us in the run game. It helps us when we're taking shots down the field. And, if we can continue to improve and show signs like we did yesterday without the interceptions, then, we can end up being a pretty good offense.
Ken Summers asked you an interesting question at the end of or at the press conference, just saying, what about possibly running the football later on in the 2-minute drill, and you had said simply, well, now that I get to look at the situation of what happened, I'll reevaluate everything. But tell me about the second half and the dispersal of run and pass. Was that based on game plan, or was that based on the score, based on the decisions that you were forced to make in the second half, the way the game went?
Well, I mean, Doug, you're down 17 points. We were pretty even split run to pass in the first half, and you got to make some plays to get back into the game when you got to score 18 points or 17 points to tie it up. So, and we were operating, we were moving the ball down the field. So, we'd made some plays in the pass game. Tim Beanie had gotten banged up, and so did Larod, and Tim hadn't had a lot of carries in the game. So at that point, with the 2-minute mark there, we had a play that we thought was good, and the guy was open. And in that situation, we've just got to be smarter with the ball. Tried to fit one in instead of taking the open guy, and that led to a mistake. And sure, if I know what I knew now, I'd run the ball there. But we were trying to put it in position, get it inside the 20, get a first down, and then run the clock down and score a touchdown and win the game, knowing that we could kick a field goal. And obviously, it's if that play had worked and we're down there inside the 10, and then it's a good play. But now it looks like it would have been nice if we'd have run the ball. So I think you had to go with what we felt like offensively we're doing well at the time. And, we were moving the ball down the field pretty well, throwing it, making some plays. And I felt good about our receivers, and our protection was good. So, that was all part of it. And unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Was that last interception that Derek Anderson threw late in the game, of course. I forget how many minutes there was to go in the game, but I know it was late in the fourth quarter there, and he threw that pick. Was he going to the right area? Was he making his right read? Was that a situation where he locked on Larry Fitzgerald, or should he have gone somewhere else with the ball?
Well, I'm not going to get into progressions and where he should or shouldn't have gone with the ball or what happened with that. Especially not when you haven't even watched the tape with the players. We didn't get the play done. It didn't work. We unfortunately, in that situation, they made a play, and we can't do that. That's the bottom line. Whether it was the call, whether it was the execution, no matter what it is, when we get into that type of situation, we worked hard, very hard, to get our team in a position with a chance to win it in that type of game. We can't turn the ball over, and that's the bottom line. So, we'll look at it, we'll correct it, we'll move forward, and hopefully when we get into that situation again, we'll be successful.
Do you even for a second prepare for Tarvaris Jackson? After 292 straight starts, do you even let that cross your mind?
I think that it really doesn't matter at this point. We got to do our corrections from the game yesterday, and then we'll move on to Minnesota. I think the point that you make, Doug, is that you expect Brett to play. That's what he's shown that he's going to do, and that's what we'll do. We'll prepare that way. I don't know schematically that they'll change that much whether Tarvaris is in there or not. So you gotta base it off of what you've seen them do, and they're a good football team, even though their record may not say that, and it's going to be a tough place to play. But we'll get our focus back on these guys after we clean it up what happened today.
I would imagine, Coach, that maybe that might impact who you're going to choose coming up this week, knowing that Minnesota in that dome is a very loud place. It's a tough place to play. Will that impact who you might choose as your starting quarterback going forward or not?
Boy, Wolf, you going back to the quarterback question. Just doing the
Wolf's real-life media, Coach.
Trying to get to the quarterback question.
Yeah.
Wolf, we're gonna look at what we think's the best plan against these guys, and then we'll make a decision based on that. So that's. Once again, I'm not going to make a decision now or even really put a lot of thought into that until we've gotten past this game, until we've corrected the mistakes and you look at it. It's easy to make an emotional decision on a Monday morning, less than 24 hours after you played a game, when you're frustrated, you're disappointed. And, but I'm not giving up on our guys or what we're doing. We've had great success with how we prepare and how we plan and how we work the last couple of years. And, I just still feel that this team is going to be a good football team before the year's over. It's tough for me to sit here and say after yesterday's game and 4 interceptions that we're making progress, but there's a lot of areas where we are. Mm-hmm. Like I said, there was a lot of good things from yesterday's practice, and I'm not going to just completely shut off that. We're going to work on the things that we're doing well, and we're going to correct the things that we made mistakes on. Our guys are committed to doing that, and we're going to play better football and win some more games, and that's what's really important.
Thanks for your time. Good luck against the Vikings.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Ken Whisenhunt joining Doug and Wolf here in the Red Zone on Sports 620 KTAR. So what did you think about Ron Wolfley's performance?